Are you a collector or are you a hoarder? I was reading this article over on the Purseblog because, hello, that's where everyone gets their world news, right? And they had this article about hoarding versus collecting. After this past year, there's been a lot of change in my collection with quantity, quality, and all of the above. It's kind of made me look inside, and I want to know, I want to ask you guys, are we collecting or are we hoarding? Before we dive into that though, guys, hey, my name's Caleb. I post luxury and lifestyle related content every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. That's something you're into. Go and hit the subscribe button down below. Consider joining the membership. We have a really awesome community, super fun Discord, meetups, extra perks, access, you name it. Check it out. So when I was reading this article, like I said, a lot of questions were coming up in my mind, and I was starting to look within myself. I've gone through some changes this past year as far as my collection goes, which we're going to unpack here in a little bit. But I really want to discuss was the comment section of this article. And there was kind of a heated debate. Like, no one was excited to think like, oh, hey, I have more than 10 bags. I'm a hoarder. I guess when it comes to collecting, like what's most important to you in a collection? Is it having, you know, like all of the Balenciaga Moto goodness and LV multicolor, which I'm kind of guilty of? Or do you take more of an editorial approach to it and just collect certain key pieces from key seasons in a house's history? There's several different ways that we could look at it. And one quote that really stuck out to me in this article really kind of gave me pause for reflection, especially regarding my own collection. Reflection, collection, whatever. They reached out to Christos Garkanos of Consignment Store Decades and Bravo's Dukes of Melrose, and he confided to Glamour that the hoarders will have 3 of the same Chanel blouses in different colors, all with the tags on and never worn. Sounds kind of a lot like my closet, minus the Chanel part. And collectors gather important pieces from designers and are not full of the consumption urge. They're more like editors. So just reading that alone, and the fact that I have a closet which has tons and tons of clothing, both designer runway ready to wear, regular things like ASOS, Zara, with the tag still attached, like why am I saving on to all this stuff? You know what I mean? This stuff. And this really takes me back to this time period in my collection, which wasn't that long ago. So earlier this year, we did my designer bag collection video, which had a lot of bags, my contemporary bag collection, which had a lot of bags, my Longchamp collection. You get the drift. I had a lot of bags, and I think by the time I started having my huge live sales, I was either coming up to or just crossing over that 100 bag threshold, and I was overwhelmed. Like, I do not know, and no shade, like this is not, like this, I'm not throwing shade, I'm not judging anybody, you know, as we always say on this channel, safe space. We all have different backgrounds, different ideas, different ways we approach our collections, and that is 100% valid however you do it. At a time when I was collecting bags, I was buying 1, 2, sometimes even 3 designer bags a month, and we're not just talking Coach bags. I'm talking like vintage Balenciaga, some Fendi, LV. Now I don't have it out today, but we're diving into Hermès head first, and I'm truly loving that journey. But I was buying 2 or 3 bags a month, and over the course of a year, you could easily double your collection every year consuming at that level. Now, this year, a big goal of mine was to buy my first Birkin, which if you missed it, which I don't know how you did, link will be down in the description for that unboxing. It was truly a phenomenal experience, and one of the fastest growing videos on my channel that I've ever uploaded, which is low-key kind of amazing. But what I decided to do this year was start to like kind of cull the herd in a way, and I sold off a lot of bags. We had 2 very successful live sales. I posted some pieces on my Discord and my marketplace for people to buy. I probably sold, I haven't done the figures yet, but I feel like I sold 1/3 of my collection. When I walk in my closet, my PAX shelving system, I actually have room to put things now. It's not just like teetering on the edge of chaos, if you will. And I had a lot of shelves that I installed underneath my clothing racks, and those drawers are all kind of emptying out, and it feels so good. I feel so free now. And granted, like I get it, like I still probably have 50 to 70 bags in my collection, and for some people, that would be overwhelming. But where I was and where I was heading was way too much. And the sad thing is I would find myself gravitating, and that's still the case, to the same 10 bags over and over and over again. Now, I'm not saying you should only have 10 bags in your collection, because I am not a minimalist. I'm not, you know, into the whole minimalist utilitarian vibes. Like, I'm very much a maximalist at heart and in my home and in the way I shop. So I'll never be one of those channels that says, oh, you know, only 5 bags. It kind of made me think, like, I kept gravitating towards the same style of bag, the same top handles, the same size of bag. And at the end of the day, a Birkin is going to do the same thing as like a free canvas tote. Like, do I really need like 4 Fendi Peekaboos, 2 YSL Muse 2s, the big Telfar totes? Like, they all kind of are interchangeable. do the same things. To that end, when I'm thinking about bags that kind of fill the same niche, these bags all kind of filled that void, if you will, of not having the Birkin or the Kelly in my collection yet. There was a time not that long ago, less than a year ago, where I didn't have my Birkin or my Kelly, so I was buying things like the YSL Muse 2 and the Fendi Peekaboo and the Fendi.com to try and kind of like fill that, you know, Hermès-y void in my life. I knew ultimately I would be very happy with the Birkin and the Kelly, and that's kind of what I was aspiring to, what I was working towards, but I hadn't had that dedication yet to, you know, stop my spending and really allocate that money towards what would truly fulfill me. I kept buying filler pieces or just now pieces, if you will. I still loved those bags, do not get me wrong. Like a Fendi Peekaboo is a Fendi Peekaboo, it's absolutely fabulous. But buying four to try and fill a Birkin void, the math's not there, nor is the closet space, unfortunately. I noticed in myself, you know, I was working towards filling the void, and I have to kind of wonder if maybe other big scale collectors are we filling a void? So with that in mind, with this new approach to how I'm purchasing things, I've kind of decided that instead of buying all the filler bags, like, oh, you know, buying a Coach Soft Tabby to fill the baguette void, end of the day, it's still not a Fendi baguette. You know what I mean? Like, I love my Coach Tabby, it's never going anywhere, and I don't really want a Fendi baguette that much, but I'm just saying, like, instead of buying like the smaller, quicker, easy to attain pieces, I'm gonna start kind of approaching my collection for the long term, if you will. I wanna start investing in more classic, more well-made, well-tailored pieces, both in my wardrobe and in my accessories. And again, this is coming from a self-diagnosed bag addict. If I could, I would continue to buy 2, 3, 4, 5 bags a month, 1 Hermès a month, but I know realistically, both with the closet space, with my financials, it's not necessary and it's not necessarily attainable. So what I want to do is kind of slow down. I'm tapping the brakes on my bag purchasing, if you will, and I plan to only buy like maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 bags a year, 2 of them at least being an Hermès bag, whether that's another Birkin, another Kelly, or maybe a Lindy, or coming up in a few weeks, I do have a very special, somewhat rare Hermès bag unboxing coming, my 4th one in my collection. I've recognized now that I've taken, you know, the time to really get to know my Kelly. I'm learning, you know, things about my Birkin, and I'm learning things about myself, and those are the bags that I truly aspire to carry. Those are the bags that I enjoy carrying and that make me feel really good. So instead of, like I said, buying all these smaller things in between and, you know, I don't want to say wasting my money because I still enjoy and appreciate those things. I just know that ultimately they're not going to be what fulfills me and what I want to see in my closet necessarily. So I kind of want to ask you guys, like, where are you at with your bag collecting? How many bags do you have? And what's your ideal number? I know a lot of my friends here on YouTube, they do like a 1 in, 1 out. Awesome for them. I don't have the wherewithal to do that because oftentimes after I sell something, I really regret it. So the fact I was able to sell so many bags in my recent live sales and not regret it is kind of like mind-blowing. I also try not to think about it. So ostrich in the sand approach maybe. Once you get through the article and actually get into the comments where like people are giving their feedback, there's a lot of heated comments, and I'm hoping that's not the case here. Save space, sound off in the comments, just keep it nice. But a lot of people were really upset at the idea that, hey, you know, this person's calling me a hoarder for having more than 10 handbags. Like I said at the start of the video, like however you feel comfortable and what you want your bag collection to look like, amazing, good for you. I'm still working on what that looks like for me, and I'm excited to try this new approach. This more, I hate the term mindful spending because spending 10 grand on one handbag isn't necessarily mindful, but at the end of the day, it's kind of where I want to be. So I'm gonna work towards that. Let me know in the comments though, what your collection looks like, what's your ideal collection look like, and were you like me? Did you have too many at one point, you felt overwhelmed and you sold them all? I wanna know about it too. Let me know in the comments. And until next time guys, stay safe, have fun. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.